Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for week 26. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report. That's going to show you exactly how the week has gone, how much profit we have made, and how much we have actually lost. But not only that, we actually also have some very interesting news, and it's basically also, as you saw on our thumbnail here, how to unleash your automated cash machine. There might be an opportunity very soon where exactly you can trade with other people's money. There's a new robot coming. We are very excited to see exactly how that's going to go. We will show you some initial results on that today. And obviously also results of all the other things that we already have going, because things are looking good, but sometimes you get a bit of a hiccup, you get a bit of a step back in order to again move forward. And we can see that some of our EAs has done exactly that last week here, but since then things are moving in the right direction again. But that is basically part of trading, and that is part of investments. So let's go and start off with our yield notes part here. And yes, it is actually coming end of June at the time here that you are watching this particular video here. It will be the last day of June. And that basically means that we are now coming up to basically the 5% quarterly profit that Yield Notes has promised us until things are coming back into normal. And again, it might not be on the 1st of July you're going to see it, because it's now landing here on the weekend. All depends on Steve, the CEO, how fast we can actually get updated all of the individual platforms here. So it might be only on Monday on the 3rd. But last time we also saw it come drizzling in over a couple of days. So don't panic too much if it's not in there on the 1st or on the 2nd. Now, if we move on to the SAPP and Sapphire coin here, there has not been much movement since the positive development, so last week, and then it has basically been bobbing around a bit, somewhere between minus 60 to 80% on the coin development. But let's go and have a look and see exactly how it does up against the iHost MN platform, where we have the shared masternoding coins in here. We can see that there's only a small little difference from last week. So this week here we had 63% return on the investment, and that is basically just 1% down from where we were last week. If we have a look at the shared masternoding, we can see that about 3.5% was made in the last week, and that is also pretty average compared to what we have seen in the past many weeks and months, so nothing special here either. And as I just mentioned, the overall coin development pretty much status quo at the minus 64% at the moment, so slightly down about 1%. And you can also see it on the graph here. There is still very little movements here. We have seen we are off the bottom low for a long period of time, but definitely we are not out of the woods yet, and we will continue to see these things happen, I believe, in the next 6 months. PNY is another one that doesn't really move much here at the moment, as you might have figured out by now. The return on the investment on the iHost MN website also here, almost the same as last week. It was 52% last week. Now it's down to 51%, so pretty much the same, as it actually varies all the way through the week. We have the shared masternoding here, where we are about 9.5%, which is also pretty consistent with what we have seen in the many last week. So no news exactly on that front either. Overall coin development seems to move a bit forward, about 3%, so down to minus 94, but that is basically down to just the price of the euro at the moment, which we are basically comparing it to. That's the reason why the change. There's no bigger change here at all. If you have a look at the graph itself also, again, continues to be flat as a pancake, nothing really changing on that particular part. Nobody is selling or buying this one here in big volumes. Birake again is the exchange here, and this is the one where you see the biggest fluctuations on also. We can see that last week we had 135% return on the investment. That is now down to 132, so about 3% or 3.5% down from last week. but we still made roughly around 9% here. So for the Birake coin, and that is pretty stable also from where we have seen it in the last many weeks. Overall coin development has moved forward also this particular week, again also a bit because of the euro development here on the coin, and that has also helped it. So at the moment we are only down into minus 2.23%, and that is definitely a nice big improvement from last week's minus 20%. If we have a look at the graph, we can see that the downwards trend is still very much there, but we have a bit of a hike up. The question is it going to continue, or is it going to again take another dive again? We will have to see in the next couple of weeks here. So, but it certainly doesn't follow Bitcoin too closely at the moment. Now, before we go to Bitcoin itself, I just wanted to remind you, because I sent this one here out also last week, that there is a new Sapphire or SAPP wallet, which is a mandatory update. So if you are having your coins within this particular wallet here, or you have it as staking in, then it's definitely a good thing to get this updated as quickly as possible. Very, very easy, and all the different details in here is also for the individual PCs, Macs, whatever else you are using. And we didn't have any issues at all by doing the updates here. Now, last week we did mention that Bitcoin was actually on the move, and we last week also mentioned that the week before it was down at 25,000. Since then, we reported here last week that we actually made it up to 30,000, but at the time we didn't have in here why we had the big jump forward. So we thought we were going to share that with you also this week here, and that was basically down to the BlackRock's ETF filing that brought some long-awaited optimism so into the crypto market itself. They are the world's largest asset manager, and they basically filed for this Bitcoin ETF, and then it was followed by a range of other big institutional players here, including Fidelity, including Invesco, WisdomTree, and Valkyrie. And obviously that has definitely moved everything a bit forward. We can see that we actually made Bitcoin price all the way up to 31,250. Since then, it has come down again, and it's just hovering at the moment over the $30,000 mark here. And right now it was at 32,252. So obviously a great new price. Let's see if it's going to be sustainable for the next couple of months here. If we have a look at BNB, that has gone the opposite way, basically, from Bitcoin. And that seems like BNB is also part of the Binance system. And that has gotten into a bit of a headwind here at the moment. So with the regulators here also. And it might be the reason why we are seeing such a low price here at the moment. It has been shedding basically from the $250 mark down to about 225, so for a short period of time, and then basically have bounced off again, and at the moment it's trading around 233. So obviously something to be had with that particular one. If you remember, we were past $300, so just a couple of months ago. Now, if we go over to the Trillant platform, there's actually not much information. So coming out of the Trillant platform, and especially the CEO, we did mention that we saw a video with Eric, the CEO, here last week, and he would also come back to us and figure out exactly how we could get our stable coins paid out here in the future. As we mentioned before, it was promised that it was going to be everything ready here by end of Q1. Then he basically came out with an official video saying, okay, by end of, or before end of Q2. And since then, we haven't really heard anything, which is really disappointing news. We can see a lot of the different social media is asking exactly the same questions as we are. So definitely just sitting there and being the ostrich, putting the head in the sand is not really the way to treat any members here at the moment. And definitely having new updates on the website itself is obviously quite fine, but don't expect too many members, including ourselves here, to go out and promote Trillant until we can actually see that we can get some of our money out again, especially because the tree we can only now buy from the 2 exchanges, so that I'm going to present to you here again. And obviously we're not interested in investing any more money until Eric starts coming clean on what exactly happening and opening up our internal funds again to us here, where we can then of course go out and both promote it and also use the Trillant platform in order to strengthen all the coins. But as long as everything is basically locked up and waiting for another payment or even just some information, then definitely it's disappointing news for all members. So again, we have all these here different staking options, and we have taken the opportunity to go in for the 52 weeks. Those are actually coming due sometime around September, I believe. And that also means that we will be out of the staking business unless Eric actually comes in. And I believe the same will happen to a lot of other members. So definitely he needs to pick up the pace here and figure out a way to communicate with all the members. Now let's go and have a look at the coin value for the tree itself. That has also been declining pretty much like you saw on the BNB part. And last week we left it at 0.0004211. Since then it has actually shed another 12 to 15% overall here. And at the moment it is trading at 0.0003081 on the xt.com platform. And if we jump over to CoinStore, you'll see that it's pretty much the same here. But at the moment, the price is actually slightly lower at CoinStore, so 0.0002950. So there's a small little difference at the moment in here. We can see a lot of buying and selling at 1 or 2 points in the last week here, but it definitely hasn't improved anything on the price at all. Now moving on and having a look at the money tree that is normally cashing in week by week, month by month. And this last week here was pretty much a bit of a rough week. And when I say last week, I actually meant from last weekend itself. So this particular data is about 5 days old, because this week has done a lot better. But we can see that both the low, medium and high risk all took a big hit. And when we analyzed a bit the data in here, it's okay that a trade or two goes against us. But the issue here we had with the money tree, at least what it looks like to us here, is that there was absolutely no trades. And when the trade started, all the trades were basically initiated at the same time. And when you have 4 or 5 trades with the money tree that is going in the wrong direction, it's very, very quickly is going to put you into basically the maximum drawdown that we have set, which is normally 20% for these particular accounts. Then it basically hits that one. So none of the accounts is wiped out. But obviously, as you can see here, we lost quite a bit of money this particular week. But this week that we are currently in, it looks like we are gaining some of it back again. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will have gained everything back, plus a bit more on the positive side. Now, if we have a look at another positive cash machine here, it's for week 25, also the top 5 EAs for the profit retriever. We can see that gold continues to do extremely well, $502 or 5%. The Aussie 200 index has also been quite well for the week, $402 or 4%. Great British Pounds, USD, this is the second signal that we have, $384 or 3.8%. And then we have New Zealand Swiss francs, $296 or 3%. And then Euro AUD, $204 or 2%. Overall, the top 5 is quite low compared to what we have seen before. It has been very low trade volumes in here and not much fluctuation in the individual currency pairs. So only $1,789 was made, or 3.6%, but definitely it is still very much positive. And as you can see, here is another cash machine, has now been running for 469 days. And even though we are not increasing the lot size every single time, we are actually making profits in here. That is even more impressive because we have monthly returns still of 10%, weekly returns of 2.3%. And as you can see here, we are coming to the end of June and we have made just over $17,000 for this particular month here, which is going to go very well hand in hand with what we saw last month. That was up by 18,500. So very consistent numbers from the profit retriever as usual. And even more consistent numbers you will also find in this particular video here. So this is the top 10 results where we are looking back for the last 4 weeks to figure out which currencies are the best ones to trade. And you will definitely see when you see that particular video series in here how stable they are, that most of the ones continue to deliver quite well. And it is a very tight race, somewhere between number 8 and number 20 in there. And last week we had a couple of signals that basically jumped up about 10 positions, not because the other ones was doing bad, but simply because most of them are cashing in somewhere around the 5 to 8% mark. And obviously you have some that goes even higher at about 15. So definitely a video to watch if you want to figure out exactly how you want to trade, which currency pairs you actually get the most out of. Now we get a lot of information on where they can find all these details, and we continue to tell people the best place to go after you have watched our videos is go to our website itself. There's FX Blue links for every single trade that we do in here with the different currency pairs. So you can have a look at our entire portfolio, or you can go in and have a look at the individual currency pairs. And there you can find a lot more details on the profits, on the drawdowns, how things have been going. So you learn to understand how the profit retriever trades. Now, if you don't like to trade all this here by yourself, you can obviously go to the copy link service. We still have that one up and running. And we should also here soon put a couple of extra links in here on the profit retriever. We know that people have been asking that some of them, when they're going to be available, we will put them forward to Expert Forex. And hopefully they'll be able to implement them in the next week or two. We know that Alex is currently on vacation here in Europe, so we're not exactly sure how fast that's going to go overall. Now we also have our spaghetti trader in here, and that is the one we have been battling with so for the last couple of weeks. And this particular week here also was a disappointing one. We don't really see a good and positive way forward. We can see that both the 15-minute, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour has all lost again this particular week here. We have made some changes. So now basically from next week, we're going to stop having a look at the take profit and stop loss, and we'll do the crossover instead. So this is a different setting from the spaghetti trader to see if we can actually start making a bit of a profit. The issue that we know with the crossover here is that it's going to be very short little trades, and we're not exactly sure that's going to work either. But at least we have given it our best shot to figure out is this one here is actually profitable or not. Now you can find a lot more details if you are interested in this particular EA also on our website. And again, these particular links here will lead you to the FX Blue site, where you can go and dissect and have a look at all the individual trades we are doing here. Now, the one that has done extremely well also this particular week is the Trade Explorer. Another week, so for 25 here, the 22 pairs, we have made some adjustments to that. We actually decreased the lot size a bit because we didn't like the way the deposit load basically manifested itself in the previous weeks. And that meant that we only made $558 or 4.4% for that particular week. The 10 pair one, which is the more conservative one, which is definitely is better for your heart at the end of the day. It has lower drawdowns and it doesn't have so many trades. It still did well, $257 or 2.1%, and we'll take that any day of the week. It looks very, very stable. And that's also why we made a bit of a video for the Trade Explorer here, where we are saying profits is definitely blowing in the sales. We can see that it has been quite good. It's been quite consistent. And also in this particular video here, we will share a bit of a secret that we have unreeled, basically opened up and figured out that every single time we have some major drawdowns, you will also get some major profits. And I'll explain more in that particular video here. It is quite interesting to figure out how that one is actually working and how things going negatively can actually be spun into a positive profit. Now you will find a lot more details on the Trade Explorer. It is quite new. We haven't traded this one here for that many months, but we have enough on our website to show you the individual weeks, and we always keep about 4 weeks back, so you can follow that. You can follow all our videos, and you can see the latest one is also uploaded here to our site. On top of this, you also have the opportunity again to go on the FX Plus sites, where you can follow every single trade we have. It's normally updated within less than a minute. So simply click the 22 pair account or the 10 pair account, and you will then see exactly how it's been trading, how it's trading right now. And we also have links for LeapFX, which is the developers themselves. And they have also made it possible actually so that you can get a 5% discount on that particular EA here. So that will help you. And if you obviously buy it through our link, you will also be able to help our YouTube channel and support the things we do in here. Try to get the best information to you. Now, we mentioned here before that there's a new automation coming. And this actually is a video from Alex and Expert Forex, where he is now looking at a new robot that seems to be extremely good at the FTMO trading. That is basically trading other people's money, where you get a certain percentage without actually having your own money involved in it at all. And we know that there's plenty of people out there that would actually like to make that happen. The issue here is a lot of times that there is so strict requirements for all this that is almost impossible. Now, Alex has shared some details with us, also that he now has passed the individual trades. And there is a couple of passing things that you have to be aware of when you start FTMO. You can see here minimum trading days is 2, max daily losses is $10,000. And why is it 10? It's because the account he has been trading was actually the size of $200,000 here. And then you have max losses also that can maximum be 10% of the initial account, so 20,000. And then again, profit targets, all he needed to do was actually make 5%. And he seems to have managed that quite well overall. We can see the individual trading days that he has traded also. He started off on the 20th with about 1,400, and then the next day it was about 1,000. 22nd was 1,500, and basically every single day it was cashing in quite nicely, and it looks like he was taking it a bit easier because the profit basically slowed down, but definitely not enough to not win over the FTMO challenge itself. Win rate also for this particular EA looks like it's around 77%, which is nice and high overall. On the graph, it pretty much looks like this. And the details and information we have gotten from him is basically we should expect this one at the end of July. And I think a lot of people is going to be very happy. They're going to basically try and see if they can enter into these FTMO trades where you can trade up to somewhere around $1 million. And you get a certain percentage. It all depends on which company that you are actually working with. Now, there's also a totally free course that Alex is trying to promote this particular week here, and you can find more on the free forum in there about these things. And that's what we had for you in this week's news report. We really hope that you enjoyed all this details, information, and news that we continue to provide you every single week. And we hope to see you on next week's news report. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.